Sorry guys for the interruption. We were at our second definition, and from the second definition, we got understand that there are some internal factors and there are some external factors of the business. Now, what is internal factors? Internal factors are the factors on which a firm can do the control. A firm can control those factors. If a firm has some affecting factors which affect the firm badly, like the employees. If the firm has not a proper qualified employees, and for those factor, firm is having a loss, so firm can change those employees, or firm can do a proper training to them. So employees and the policies of the business are the factors which are internal factors, but there are certain other factors which are considered as external factors on which a firm cannot do any control on them. For example, competition in the market. We have a very good example of heavy kick. uh, Meanwhile, means till date, there is only a Fevikick in the market for such type of product. No other companies are selling this kind of product in the market. But from last few months, a Resikick also entered into the market with the same product. So Fevikick is facing a competition in the market, and Fevikick cannot uh, remove those company that raise Resikick from the market. So these are some of the factors which affect to the business, but a firm cannot control those factors. A firm cannot, Fevikick cannot remove that Resiquick from the market, because both are different individual companies selling the same product in the market. So, what does a firm can do? Firm need to be adjusted with the situation. Now, if a Fevikick uh, gives some of the greatest policy, if see the company changed the price of the product, now at present we get Fevikick at 5 rupees from the market, but if company decided to decrease the price, and when a Pidilite company that sells the Fevikick decided to sell the Fevikick at rupees 4 to compete with the Resiquick. So these kind of things can be done by the company to be adjusted with the situation, and this can be considered as an external factor on which a company cannot do the control. So in the screen we have some types. The environment can be divided into categories: internal environment, external environment, and external environment can further classified into two types. Which are these? Economic environment and non-economic environment. So we have two different classification of the environment. First one is internal environment. Internal environment are the environment which are under the control of the company. Whatever the firm is running their business, it can control the factors. Which factors are the considered under the internal environment, but there are some factors which cannot be controlled by the company need to be adjusted with this. Those factors are considered under the external environment. So let's move further. Here we have written some points. External environment of an economy and its components we already have seen in the previous page: economic environment and non-economic environment. So here we are going to discuss about external factors, external environment, and in the external environment we have two different classification. First of all, there is an economic environment, and the second one is there is an non-economic environment. So what is economic environment? For economic environment we need to understand the economic activity. Economic environment are the environment which affect the cost of the company, which affect the profit of the company. For example, here we have given that economic conditions, economic policies, and the economic system are important external factors that constitute the economic environment of an economy. The economic conditions of a country, for example, the nature of economy, the stage of development of the economy, economic resources, level of income, the distribution of income, means the factors which affect the profit, the total wealth of the company, the income distribution of the company, income distribution of the government, whole the country. So whatever the factors, for example, taxation policy. Now government decides the taxation policy, government might increase the rate of taxation, government might decrease the rate of taxation, and a single company cannot control the policy because it has been adopted by the government and it can be applied for the all the people, all the companies. So what need to firm do? Firm need to be adjusted with the taxation policy. It cannot control that. It cannot say that no, this taxation policy does not work for me, we want some different type of taxation policy. So it is not clearly possible for any firm. So they need to be adjusted with it, and these kind of factors considered as an economic environment. Now, according to Stedvant, economic environment refers to those external factors which directly influences the economy of a business. Again, guys, you need to focus on this line. External factors which directly influences of the economy of a business. So we can conclude that the physical and social environment of a country which assist in a regulation of economic activities of a firm to fulfill his requirement is called economic environment. Now we have characteristics of economic environment. What are the characteristics of economic environment? So we have written the first point here is related with economic activity. Economic environment is closely related with the economic activity. Whatever the expenditure company get from the market, whatever the expenditure company occur during the production process, whatever the profit or the revenue company get from the market are the things which are directly connected with the economic activities, and those are considered under the economic environment. So a very first characteristics of economic environment is related with economic activities. Now we have second characteristics is affected by non-economic environment. There are certain points, there are certain environment, there are certain factors which also are considered under the characteristics of economic environment. Now what is non-economic environment? There are some factors like geographical, social and political environment. Those are not directly affect to the profit of the company, but indirectly the position, the party in the power in the country can affect the company by adopting a new taxation policies, by the rate of the interest in the market. So these are some of the factors which affect the company. We can consider those factors under the non-economic environment. Now we have third characteristics of economic environment is guided and operated by the government. All the policies and all the rules and regulations that made by the government and implemented in the country are considered in the economic environment, and which is directly affect to any firm, and firm cannot control those policies. A firm cannot refuse for those policies. Each and every individual or the firm has to implement by force, or they need to be adjusted with those factors. So these all policies are guided and operated by the government and can be considered for the external factors. All these characteristics are considered in the external factors because all these situation or the factors cannot be controlled by a single firm or individual. Now we have 4 point infrastructure. Economic environment is influenced by the availability of infrastructure like electricity, water, power, transport, communication, banking, insurance, etc. Wherever and the whenever you are starting your business at some place, if you not get a proper facility like electricity, water, power supply, you cannot control those factors. You need to be adjusted with it. You need to decide that whether I should do my business over here or not, or whether I should change my place for the business or not. So all these factors are the factors which are beyond the control of the firm and are considered under the economic factors and under the economic environment of a business. Now public approach. खाओ पियो ने जलसा करो, eat, drink and enjoy. These are some of the concept of general people, general public thinks that eat, drink and enjoy. Some of that concept are adopted by the people, and this concept might affect the environment, and company or any single firm cannot control the people in the market. So each and every individual is has a freedom to do whatever he wants to do, and by this approach they might get more values in the society. So these are the factors that need to be considered in the external factors, because these factors cannot be controlled by any single firm. Now, distribution of wealth in the society. In a country like India, we have a very unequal distribution of wealth in our country. So this might also affect the company, and it is also considered as a external factor of the company. Unequal distribution of wealth and centralization of economic powers leads to economic inequality and exploitation, because I have heard somewhere that poor becomes poorer every day and the richer become richer every day. So why does this happen? Most of the national income, the majority part of national income has been got by the rich class people. They have a very good purchasing power, and they might contribute to the national income very well. So what happens? The poor has become very poor day by day, and all this unequal distribution of the wealth in the society affect the business to fulfill the needs of the people. They might get confused that what need to be produced and when need to be produced and to whom this product need to be sold. So all these questions arises during when the situation of inequality in the country, and this is also external factors. Company cannot control this factor, so it is also an external economic environmental factor. Now we have many more points in the screen. We will do it briefly, not going into deep. Availability of capital. What is capital? Capital is the amount of money that is required to start a business. If you want to do a business, if you want to start a new project, you need to have some money, and you will get this money either from the capital market or from the money market. Now, what is capital market and money market? If you issue the share to get the capital from the market, and people will buy your share, so this is what the capital market is, and you will get the fund, you will get the capital from the people for long term. But if you go for loan from the bank, if you go for treasury bill or whatever the instrument you will use to get the capital from the market are considered, if it is less than 1 year, it is considered as a money market. So how much capital company get to start a business? This is what the availability of capital. If I want to start a business, I have a very good idea, I have a very good confidence in me that I will get much profit in future. But if I don't have capital, then what can I do? If I issue share in the market and people will not buy my share, then how can I get the capital? So this is also a totally affect the business, that if a company or a firm cannot get a proper capital or enough capital from the market, it will also affect to the company and it cannot control by the company. So this is also considered in the economic environment, and in economic environment is also external factors. Now we will go further. Economic ideology, how the socialist, capitalist, communist are thinking for the product and the company. And planet economy. In the planet economy, there is a very highly interference of government, because in the planet economy, government decide what to produce, when to be produced, where to be produced. So all these decisions are taken by the government, and an individual firm or the company do not have much power, do not have much situation or the position to take the decisions by themselves. There are much and highly interference of the government. But in the countries like India, which has adopted the mixed economy, in this country, there are public and private, both the sectors working together. So planet economy affect the company very well. Now moral factors, and are there there are moral factors, and we have seen 10 different factors, 10 different characteristics of economic environment. Economic environment has all these 10 characteristics. You need to write these points in your notebook, and if you have any confusion in this, you can call me, you can inform me by any way you want to inform me. Now we have the most important point of your chapter, the most important point of your chapter. I will again say the most important point of your chapter: factors affecting economic environment. This is one of the most important question. What are the factors What are the factors that affect economic environment? We have the factors written over here. You need to write this question in a notebook also, because this is very important, as I already told you. The first one is natural resources. Company or a firm need to produce something to sell in the market, but for that they need to have a proper resources. So if there is a lack of resources, if company do not have enough resources, it will not produce enough product in the market. It will not produce enough product, and it will not sell the product in the market. So the availability of resources is also a very important thing, and it also affect to the company. The available resources, natural resources of the country, like soil, mineral resources, water level, vegetation, topography, rainfall, are the factors which affect to any business, and those are natural factors, so company cannot control them. Now what we can say for the rainfall? Rainfall is a totally natural thing. So the company who has been dependent on the rainfall and the crop, they need to be dependent on that, and if rainfall does not happen much, then they need to suffer a loss. So natural resources is the main factor affect to the economic environment of any company. Now human resources, how the human affect the company, and it cannot be controlled by the company. Demographic factors such as size of a population, how much population in the country is, population growth rate, at what rate they are growing, age of the people, composition, life expectancy, family size, uh, occupational status, employment status, and all these factors of of the people are affect directly to the company. And from these factors, company need to be rely on the people and on the demographic situations, because company cannot human resources uh, as an external factor. Now we have third main important factor, that is social and cultural system. Now how the society, how the what the culture of the society is, each and every company need to follow the culture of any country or the people, what the taste and preferences of the people is, what kind of product they use, are considered by the company. Company cannot decide that we will produce this good and people need to use this good, they have to use the goods that are produced by us. No, company need to rely on the people, that what kind of product people want to use, and based on that company will decide that we will produce this kind of goods. So this is also a very important factor affect to the company. Now we have a detailed chart in the screen, we will see it one by one. Factors affecting economic environment. There are two different factors, internal factor and external factor. Now I have already told you that internal factors are the factors on which company has some control. And there are external factors. In the external factors, there are two different type, economic and non-economic factors. So in the economic factors, we have seen natural resources, human resources, social and cultural systems, and under below this chart we have technological development, political system, government policies, market conditions, capital and money market, economic laws, international if a company doing their business abroad, then there is international conditions, transport and communications, entrepreneur and innovations, education system, and population. All these factors are considered in the economic environment. All these factors are considered in the economic environment. Guys, you need to understand this very well. You also need to note down all these points, because these points are very important for the exam. Now we have non-economic factors, that is physical structure, social structure, political structure, legal situations, technological situations, educational situation, historical situations, ethical points are also there, international, ecological and cultural factors. So all these factors are considered in the non-economic factors that affect to the company and are not controlled in the company. So there might some of common factors in the economic and non-economic, but the explanation of these factors are quite different. We will see at below. Now we have on the screen is technological development. Company or the firm had to be developed and adopt the latest technology to run their business. I have an example that before some years, there is a tape recorder in the market. People use such kind of cassettes in which there are black star is available and by which they play the songs inserting that cassette in the tape recorder. But after that, the technology has changed and CDs and DVDs has entered in the market. After that, microchips and pen drive also entered in the market. And now at present, there are cloud storage. People do not have to have a physical device with them. They can just upload the data on the internet and they can access those data anywhere. So this is how the development has been happened. This is how the technology changes. So each and every firm need to adopt the latest technology to run their business in the market, because the company who is producing that tape recorder and the cassette now has shut down if they have not adopted the new technology. So technology directly affect to the firm or the company, so they need to be adjusted with them. Now we have the next factor, that is political system. Political situations always changes in the country. When a new government comes, they will have a new policy about the people, about the companies, about business, about banking system, about insurance system. So whatever the policies they make, each and every one has to implement them properly. So whenever the political systems changes, company has to have the has to have the mind to cope up with the situations. They cannot change the political situation of the country. Now we have the next factor, that is government policies. As I told you, in the political system, government policies, whatever the policies, whatever the bills government make and implement in the country, whatever the companies and the firms are affected by those policies, they need to be adjusted with them. They need to make such a strategy so that they can get maximum profit from that. They can get maximum benefit of that policies. But if the policies are not favorable for the company, suppose government has made such a policy that is not favorable for the company, then what can a company do? Company cannot say the government that no, we don't want such kind of policies, please change these policies. Company has to be adjusted with that policy. Company need to change their planning, change their strategies. They need to make such a strategy that are quite helpful in such kind of policies to run their business. So government policies are the factors which affect the company, because we are learning the factors affecting the business environment. And government policies is such a factor that is beyond the control of the company and affect the company. Now the 7th point is market conditions. Whatever business you are doing, you need to understand that what you are in what kind of market you are running your business. If it is a perfect competition, or you are doing a monopolistic business, if you have a monopoly in the market. So what kind of the situations are there in the market, and this will affect your company. If there is a highly competition market, then you need to rely on your competitor. If you are selling your price at rupees 5, but when your competitor is selling the same product as rupees 4, you also need to decrease your price, or you also need to implement such a strategy so that you can survive in the market. So market conditions are also there to affect the company or the business or the firm. Now we have Another factor, that is capital and money market. Capital market is a market from where you can get for long term finance, and money market is a market in which you can get the finance for at least less than 1 year. So it is also dependent that how much capital you are able to get from the market. If you are not able to get much capital from the market, you cannot run your business properly. So you also need to rely on the capital and money market. Money and capital markets are also the determinants of economic environment. Natural and human resources of the nation cannot be utilized in the lack of capital. So if you do not have capital, how can you run your business? If you have some resources but not the capital, you need capital first to do any business. So this is also affecting factor to the business. Now we have the next factor, that is economic laws. Economic and labor laws also influence on business environment. The MRTP Act, court laws, industrial laws, commercial laws, factory laws, various acts relating to tax, etc., affect business environment in different ways. So, guys, here the explanation given, we can say that there is certain laws which are about the employees, which are about the labor acts, which are about the infrastructure of the company. So all these laws affect the company in a certain way, and company cannot control those acts. Company need to be cope up with them, company need to be adjusted with it. Now the next point is international conditions. If a company is doing a business abroad, company has some business in some other countries rather than one country, so it also need to rely on the international conditions. What the explanation given here is international conditions such as foreign aid, foreign economic policy, balance of trade and balance of payment, exchange rate are the things that company need to study properly, because these all these factors affect to the company. Now the value of dollar will increase with the value of money, then what will happen? It will also affect to the payment system, and company need to be dependent on that. Company can, a single firm cannot control the whole condition in the market. So this is what the internal conditions also affect the company. Now transportation and communications. Transportation and communication system is also an important element of economic environment. Developed transport and communication system helps in economic development of a country. If a country has developed communication system, developed transportation system, then it is very helpful for any firm. They can easily distribute their product to each nook and corner of the country. So, but if a country do not have a proper facility of transportation, do not have a proper facility of communication, a firm has to suffer a lot. So the firm need to rely on the basic facilities that is given by the government. We have next point, that is entrepreneurial innovation. Whatever the business you are doing, you need to do the research, you need to come out with a new type of product, because always the trending and new product are going viral in the market. So you need to depend on the research of your business. Innovation and technological development itself cannot develop the economy. The entrepreneur, with the help of these resources, mobilize natural and human resources and further helps in economic development. Thus, the entrepreneur utilize these resources and contribute in the economic development of the country. So, therefore, the entrepreneur should be confident and fighting developing countries lack able entrepreneurship. Therefore, they have to invite foreign capital and entrepreneur both. Some of the company might have the resources, but they might not have a proper entrepreneur to use that resources. And some of the countries like India have, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, but they do not have, here we do not have much resources to use. So this kind of situation can also affect the firm to use a proper resources. Education system, how much educated the people is also affect the firm. How? Let's read. The education system and training facilities also play an important role in the economic development of the nation. General education as well as general education as well as technical education affects the economic environment. If the education system stress on self relations, then coordinate with the economic environment, it will helpful in the economic development. There are certain sectors like agricultural sectors, service sectors. So all these sectors, when they get the boost in the research, if the education level is high and each and every sector get higher development day by day, then it will also helpful for the firm. So this is how the education works. Now the population overpopulation as well as underpopulation adversely affect the economic environment. There is close relationship between the population and economic development of the country. The availability of adequate labor force, if there is overpopulation, if the population in the country is high, then each and every company will get labor force, skilled and unskilled, at a very less price. But we will read over here, helps in the industrial development of a country. Overpopulation generates the problems of unemployment. But also, if the population is high, there will be unemployment in the country, there will be poverty in the country, there will be starvations of immorality in the company. It also creates the problem of low per capita income and low living standard, because when the population is high, the country is not able to satisfy all wants, all the requirement of of the population in the country. They will not get enough employment, because the opportunity of employment is quite less in the countries like overpopulated countries. So it will create a problem. There will be also the problem of the low per capita income, because the total income of the country will be divided by the total number of people in the country. So when when there is overpopulation country, there will be low per capita income. So guys, that's it for today in this lecture. I will discuss the next part of the lecture very soon, and I will send you the link in your WhatsApp group. If you are left with any queries and the confusion in the lecture, you can contact me on any way it is possible. Thank you. Goodbye.